Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Andrew Goforth. Andrew Goforth is a husband, father, holistic seminar facilitator, and business coach. He mentors Yogi Entrepreneurs to create online businesses and workshops to travel the world abundant. After a life-changing experience, Andrew found that the body is critical to truly succeeding in business today and strives to help his clients have the same appreciation towards their own body. Transformational coaching and workshops have taken Andrew around the globe and back, bringing mindful business practices to leading holistic practitioners worldwide. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn directly from the master himself, Andrew Goforth. Let's dive into it.
Before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the button below. It allows you to receive notification bell every single time we provide you with the contents that allows you to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to go deeper on learning on how you can hunt your future, make sure you download our masterclass session at huntyourfuture.com. It allows you to know exactly what you need to do to hunt your future. Plus, we are also going to share with you tips and tricks on what you need to do to live a limitless life starting from today's forward. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome Andrew Goforth.
Thanks, Donovan. I'm stoked to be here with you today, man.
You're welcome. And we're thrilled to have you here with us today. So tell us, is there anything that we did not mention in the bio that you'd like to share with Limitless Nation?
I don't think so. I think the bio that I shared with you is pretty spot on. You know, I'm sure we'll get into some other good stuff.
I agree. Now, here at the Limitless Nation, we have a tradition of starting each and every single interview with a limitless quote or mantra or simply affirmation. So do you have a quote or thought that you think to yourself on a nearly daily basis?
Yeah, man. You know, my background is yoga and body work, and so I'm big into yogi quotes. And one of the big ones that we have around our house, it's actually up right now on our calendar, is the happiness of one's own heart alone cannot satisfy the soul. You must try to include, as necessary to one's own happiness, the happiness of others. And that's a quote from Yogananda.
Very profound and very insightful. So he has to, I'm paraphrasing here, but it sounds like you have to be also in the moment, include your happiness along with how it impacts the people around you.
Yeah, I think what he's leading towards in that comment is that true happiness comes through service, comes through moving beyond just your own happiness, but the actual happiness of your family, your friends, your community, and the world. And that's how I do my work.
I agree. That sounds right. Now, for you having been on your journey for a while now, I'm trying to make sure this sounds right.
Yeah, oh good.
For you having been on your journey and helping many different people and going through plenty of different obstacles and challenges, can you share with the Limitless Nation a challenge, obstacle, failure, or just plain difficulty that you've had to overcome to get to where you are now?
Sure, man. You know, I think that's important for us to reflect on the things that have really shaped us into who we are, right? Our challenges are what mold us like clay. So take it back several years. My wife and I traveled overseas to Bali, and our goal and our mission over there was to get a mobile global life where we're actually doing our craft, but we were able to do what we wanted to do from wherever we were in the world wanted to do it. In the midst of all of that, ball got rolling, things were rocking and rolling, and I totally got a parasite infection. And we could not figure out for the longest time what was going on. And I just kept losing weight, and got so thin to the point where I literally couldn't do the work that I needed to do. Anytime I would do body work, or even when I was coaching, I was just exhausted, or I'd try to work on someone and my muscles just shake. And it was a setback. It was a huge setback because we had this big vision, creating this, mobile platform that we could do from wherever. And it got so bad that I literally had to come back to the States to seek medical care. And even then it took a couple of years to finally get it diagnosed. So that was a big squig in the spokes, if you want to call it that, in the journey.
Wow. That's crazy. Being almost reaching your dream of where you want to be, and all of a sudden you're almost back or worse than where you started, because you got to now deal with this new problem that's realistically more important than your big dream, because it's your livelihood, it's your life, and the focus of what helps everything else work. Wow, that's crazy. Now, in going through a very difficult time, what would you say was an aha moment where in my thought process, I would think that would cause you to really reflect on yourself as to, like, why is this happening to me, and what am I going to do, and just really give you some tough questions that you got to answer for yourself when you go through something difficult like that. Can you share what was like an aha moment where you had to answer answer some of those questions, but also what helped you get to where you are now.
One of the things that I've often told people when I share about this experience is that after that long having something eating at you from the inside, it felt like I was dying. You know what I mean? Like I kind of felt like I was going to die early in life. And in that process, it was like a dark night of the soul kind of point in my life. And I remember actually in the middle of all of that, I was sitting in meditation and feeling like crap. But there was this moment that I had this vision of, holy crap, if I can get better, what would I do? Right? You know, like, because the mindset when you're not feeling well is that it wants to perpetuate. It wants to like keep going down that role of how life is crappy and how things aren't good. But this clarity came of like, what if I got better? And what would I do with my life if I did get better? And that eventually turned into, what will I do when I get better? When I get better. Like the language started changing. And that was a huge pivotal moment. And I realized then, and I started writing things down, that I wanted to get out there and serve people at the highest level. I wanted to push people into transformational experiences through workshops, through my coaching, all of those things. And I started just writing. And that writing also helped to bring my spirit back up, the energy back up inside to find health again. And so it was beautiful. It was a beautiful process of like those coals inside, you know, throwing some logs on it, and all of a sudden it started firing up. And obviously with the love and support of friends, but really it came down to getting down to a bottom, and that bottom choice of like, is this it, or is there still more for me to do here? And the medicine that got me through that was actually serving my family and serving my community, my clients.
Right. So even with this massive setback of not knowing for a while what was eating from the inside out or why you were in such a difficult situation, even when you found out what the diagnosis was, you were already on your path helping others and really finding your purpose of why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah. At that point, absolutely. I had decided, I'm like, well, if this is going to freaking kill me, then it's going to kill me while I'm helping other people. And I was okay with that at that point, you know, but somehow it started nourishing me. It started fueling my heart, started fueling my health. And that was really when my health came back. I really started jumping back into health coaching. When I was doing a lot of business coaching, which I still do, but that really made me focus with a lot of my clients is, how is your health, right? Because if your health's not good, all the foundation's not there. So yeah, it was definitely a change in my perspective and the way that I work as well.
Yes. Now, in the way that you work, I'm sure that it has changed. Obviously, it has changed from when you started till now. So can you share with the Limitless Nation what you're working on now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
Yeah, so in my big project right now, I've been working with a lot of yogi entrepreneurs. My background is holistic medicine. I've been a body worker. My undergrad was psychology. And so I've been in that holistic world since like 2003. And so I started really working with a lot of people in that vein, and more specifically, yogi entrepreneurs. And so I came up with this platform that I call the Mindfulpreneurs Map to Freedom. And it's a coaching program. It's a 12-week program where I'm walking people through the personal development of being an entrepreneur, but somebody who's also serving other people needs to be able to serve themselves as well, right? Back to that Yogananda quote, you get your happiness there, but that's not total fulfillment. You got to move it out there. And so that second portion of this package is how to start to leverage all the amazing knowledge that you've learned in your own yoga practice and your own yoga business, and how to actually create a culture around it. And then lastly, how to take that beautiful ship and sail it out there through online branding, creating your own online business, and sharing your beautiful, genuine, individualistic voice.
That's a very wonderful way of expressing and explaining that. Now, where can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners go to learn more about this program, as well as to connect with you, as well as just to simply understand more about you and your business?
Sure, man. My website's always a great place if you're wanting, a lot of information. It's all there, andrewgoforth.com. It's just my name with com at the end. I got my Instagram and my Facebook handle are @andgoforth. So the first three letters of my name and then my last name. So I try to keep it as simple as possible in this, hashtag millions of letters and numbers, dots afterwards. So
Different world today.
yes, it is.
So with you, when you started out on this journey, creating this, I'm going to say, global platform for all these other yogi entrepreneurs, what would you say is something that was holding you back from really becoming that limit?
That's a good question, man. Okay, so I think one of the big things that was holding me back after, obviously the illness, but I think after that, as I started getting better, I failed. I had a dream that I was going after, and it went and crashed. And that stings for any entrepreneur. And I don't care how good of an entrepreneur you are, when you have a big fail, it takes a little bit to recover from, And that was a challenge for me, for sure. There was this hesitancy to really put myself out there fully again. Even though there was that part of me that really wanted to, there was this part that was like putting out portions, putting out pieces, but never like that full, raw Andrew Goforth expression. And so it all kind of tied back into that fear of failure, which I love to coach people through now, because I know exactly what it feels like. And I also know what it also feels like to move through that shit and transcend it.
So you now spend your time helping other people reach from here to here, because you know what it's like to be way, way down here. And you helped yourself through your own experiences, as well as would it be wrong in saying mentors?
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
Mentors? Would I be wrong in saying mentors? Did you have mentors?
Yeah, I've had several mentors in my path,
Okay.
In the yoga world, you definitely have mentors to learn about the inner terrain of the body and the mind. I had a lot of mentors through all of my training, and even as a businessman, I've had my own coaches. Good coaches usually have a pretty good coach lined up in their life. I had some really amazing ones that have been able to call me on, my last coach specifically really calling me on that fear of failure and bringing that stuff forward and loving me through it, instead of just being like, come on, let's get out there and do it. Like, actually loved me through the process to help me to actually, I don't want to say this, integrate it, rather than it just being something to push through, and that's my philosophy. And a lot of the stuff I do is let's not just get through this, because we want to get to a goal. Let's integrate what's here, so that when this lesson tries to come back through our life again, we don't have to do this over and over and over. We have a map. We've created a map through that, tumultuous time. So yeah.
Yes. So with you having helped so many different people from all walks of life, what is one bit of advice that you yourself have received that you can pass on to the Limitless Nation?
Ooh, that's good, bro. I think that the most powerful thing, when I really, really got it, I had people say it to me for probably the last 5 to 7 years, but when it really hit home that I'm the creator of my reality, when you feel that one on a cellular level, things change. There's no more room for victim. There's no more room for this person did this to me. It's you become 100% accountable for this life experience. No matter how much crap you've been through or how much struggle you've been through, when you step into that mindset, I'm creating the way that I'm perceiving this world. No one else is doing that but me. There's no one else to get into the blame game about. And you don't even have to blame yourself anymore. You can actually start to learn from everything. Everything and everybody in this world becomes a teacher rather than something that you have to work at.
I agree. So it's the moment that you take responsibility for your own actions, and even then it's becoming part of the, I'm going to say, universe or design of the way that you get to manifest into your life what you want in your life.
Absolutely. 100,000%.
Now, Andrew, in part of designing and manifesting your own life, for some people and for the vast majority, it takes habits and discipline. Mm-hmm. So for you and your own life, what are some habits that you have embedded into your life that help you maintain this limitless life?
You said it. I mean, it's the biggest thing that I've actually had reflected back to me a lot too, is my discipline. Coming off of the parasite thing, I had to be diligent AF about what was going inside my body. Food, water, everything that was going inside my body because of that was having a direct effect. And that made me realize, whoa, we are what we eat. Everybody says that's so cliche, but when you really feel it immediately, like you put something in and your body, your chemistry changes, huge. So discipline, as far as my health, became a huge priority. And then the other piece was my personal and spiritual practice. I practice yoga and meditation. I practice self-care to avoid burnout. And those two, between the health and, the food going in, everything that's moving through my body, and maintaining a diligent practice that is continually strengthening me, I would say are the two pieces that allow me to leverage a lot of power in my experience and a lot of presence in all of my coaching that I do.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, man.
Now, if one day when you come home to your house and you look in your bookshelf and realize that all the books that you have suddenly disappear, in a frantic, you look at your phone to look at your online bank statement and realize that all your money is gone with the exception of enough money to buy one book. It can be any book, but it can only be one book. What is the first book you would buy?
I would say one of the books that I've come back to again and again and again. You know, if I get outside of like technique and all that stuff, because there's some really great techniques out there, one of the things that we need the most in this world is gratitude, straight up, no matter where you are in your journey. And so I came across a book, about 3 years ago called The Magic. And that book was 28 days of practices to start to shift your mindset into seeing the world happening for you, not against you. 28 different practices. It goes with the moon cycle, which goes right up my holistic mindset vein. And that book, I've gone through it several times. I've done Facebook live trainings on that because I know the power of just shifting our mindset out of lack into graciousness and appreciation and admiration for this life. Even if you're, the top CEO, if you're not practicing this, you're not working and having the impact that you could if you're not living that kind of life. So I would say The Magic is a fundamental foundational piece to living an abundant mindfulpreneur life.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you had the ability to be like that movie Back to the Future and travel back through time and space and talk to the younger version of yourself, what advice would you give that individual?
I would say step into the willingness to feel that fear of failure and actually act. One of the biggest things, like I was sharing with you earlier, was that my coaching stuff really came on in line, really specifically full parts of myself in the last few years. But before that, there was this part that was just kind of playing it safe because back in that corner of my mind, well, if I really put myself out there again, I could fail. And what would that mean, right? What would that mean? So it would be to really just honor that part of like, it's okay. You can fail again. And you can maybe find a different word to change around it. If the word fail, fucks with your head, change it out with something else. But be willing to step into that uncomfortable part that things might not work out the way that your mind wanted to work out. Because the truth is, the other side of that, even if it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to, it's probably working out the way it's supposed to for your evolution and for you to grow one way or another.
I agree. Now, Andrew, tell us again, where can the Limitless Nation go to learn more about you, the projects you have going on, and just to, if they want to get more information on your holistic mindset and coaching skills and abilities, where can they reach out, find out more about that?
Absolutely, Donovan. My website, you guys, is andrewgoforth.com. If you don't know how to spell Goforth, it's not hard. It's Goforth, andrewgoforth.com. That's where you can reach out to me as well. You can send me an email through that, or you can hit me up on social media. Again, my handle is @andgoforth. That's not a very hard one to remember. So those are my two main platforms, Instagram, Facebook, that if you want to hit me up, and again, the website for sure.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Absolutely, man.
And thank you very, very much for your time, Andrew.
Yeah, this has been great, Donovan. Thanks for having me, man. It's been a pleasure connecting with you today.
You're welcome. I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that I have been amazed by everything that you have had to say. Being able to go from trying to reach this high aspiration dream to being knocked down to not even understanding what's happening with your body to realizing that this is the purpose that you want to do in helping others. And then when you get that diagnosis, you're able to bounce back from all that sickness of a parasite to now you're doing even bigger and greater things, helping so many different people live their limitless life in the best way possible.
Thanks for that reflection back, man. I appreciate it. I think all of us need those reminders of the journey, the journey we've been on. We were here, now we're here, and there's a lot that's changed in that time. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, until next time, this is Donovan saying stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So Go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.